Epstein victims deserve justice.
I was systematically recruited, trafficked across this great nation.
We were groomed, we were manipulated, and we were taken advantage of. We will not stop or give up, and we will be on the front lines of this battle.
In this video, family, we'll break down to you several things, especially why the Trump administration, along with all the previous ones that preceded it for the last 40 years, have been and are compromise controlled, no matter whether they're Republican and or Democrat. You do not have any one of these parties that represents your best interests. And you feed these parties and you give them the authority to continue to manipulate you, use you, when you tie yourself to these labels such as I am a liberal, I am a Democrat, I am a conservative, I am a Republican. You are being used and your wealth is being extracted while the elites maintain and grow their wealth. You are being systematically destroyed from the middle class down, and we'll explain why. Again, these individuals who claim to be our representatives are not representing us. They are representing those who have backed them and funded their campaigns. And you have the talking heads from the left and the right, these social media pundits. You have these talking heads who claim conservatism, talking about how great Trump is, how he is for the working class people. He came out as that, but he has shown that he's not that. He is control and compromise as well. You hear the Democrats holler about how we should have voted for Kamala. She is controlled and has been controlled as well. It matters not if they are Democrat or Republican. They are working for those who truly own America, and this must stop. And again, in order to really get the depth of this, it's falling on Trump's shoulders right now, but many of these administrations, especially since 2007, we're talking about Obama and we're talking about first Trump and we're talking about Biden, these individuals have allowed these victims of these elite pedophiles to suffer and to try to keep them quiet while protecting the elite that they know own and control them. And this is why we must hold these individuals accountable, and you have to stop aligning yourself with these idiotic labels. I'm liberal, I'm conservative, I'm Democrat, I'm Republican. You are being used in order to further the agenda of those who are the elite that own and control our government. And we'll prove that without a shadow of doubt. Let's dive into how these individuals actually use you and continue to create within many of us social anxiety that has led to emotional and mental pathologies that are sinking many individuals across this nation and is causing a nation to be even more violent than it already has been and more self-destructive when it comes to the dependency on medications that deal with mental and emotional subtle pathologies in some cases, major pathologies in many cases. So allow us to look at how they privatize profits and socialize costs. And they will tell you that we live in a capitalistic society. You hear this coming from the left a lot, especially on YouTube, talking heads like DeVory Dawkins, like Officer Tatum. He's a scumbag, and I don't like to use those type of words, but he has formed a genocidal maniac in the name and form of Benjamin Netanyahu, which is not his original name, which is a name that's given to him when they become Israeli prime ministers, because they are not really the Jewish individuals that inhabited that land. Many of them individuals are the descendants of Europeans, and you have labeled them as Jews because you think that a Jew is a race. A Jew is not a race. A Jew is a religious affiliation, just as a Christian, just as a Muslim, etc. But allow us to tie this back in. You look at how the system that we live in, the government that we live in, and all governmental systems are flawed, and all governmental systems of their economic systems are flawed and geared to maintain a class gap for those who are wealthy and those who are beneath that wealth gap. So when we look at capitalism, and again, I'm a fan of capitalism above the other economic systems that are in place, but we do not live in a pure capitalistic society. We live in a society where those who own the means of production and who has the wealth and who have bought our politicians use us who are middle class and below, extracting our tax dollars in order to further elevate their wealth. They use this, and you've heard it before, they privatize profit while socializing costs. And you can see examples of this when businesses say they're coming to the city and to a state, and the state and or city pays for the building, pays for the breaking of the ground, pays for the upfront cost to get that business started. And if that business is successful, it does not trickle out the money, the profits from that corporation out to the people and the taxes that help build that. They privatize the profits, they socialize the cost, meaning we paid for that building to be erected. And this is where they use the capitalistic system to their advantage. While they become wealthier, we foot the bill to build their facilities for a few measly dollars and a little bit of tax kickback. Again, if you're dealing in true capitalistic society, that business, that corporation should have to fund its own costs. It should have to fund its own building and then allow for the taxes to be extracted from it as any other business, not build the business on the backs of the taxpayers who see none of the profit. These politicians are bought, and we must understand that. So again, we have to look at that. They use a system of privatizing profit, socializing costs when it comes to building many of these buildings and facilities and things of that nature in these cities. So this is one way. Also, we must look at the fact that our government has pretty much allowed corporations to sacrifice the humanity of being human in order to extract corporate costs. And this has caused an uptick in homelessness. It has caused an uptick in what I said before, the social anxiety that is tied to this type of behavior from individuals who don't know what they would do and how they would go about pursuing their life because their jobs have been dismissed, they have been let go. The government has incentivized individuals to corporations and allowed them to extract jobs and send them overseas. I can say that Trump is trying to bring some of these jobs back. He has done a job of straddling the fence. He has done some things that have been beneficial, but he has done more things that have been detrimental, especially this EPSTEIN situation, where he tried to act as if it's a Democratic hoax. These victims are not hoax. He should be ashamed of himself. And again, I voted for him, but I voted for him for some specific reasons. He has delivered, but I hold him accountable for the BS that he is engaging in and the fact that he has shown that he too is compromised. We'll finish out with this, family. We have to understand that the government is castrating the middle class. And I'm not talking about just the Republicans or just the Democrats. Both of these parties are owned and controlled, and those who own them and control them have set into place, no matter who's in office, the middle class is being decimated, tax dollars are being extracted from it, and those at the top continue to elevate their wealth, and it is creating a society of homelessness. Over 700,000 individuals homeless and you talking about a great nation. There can never be a great nation with this amount of human suffering, and we're just talking about homelessness. We're not talking about the drug addiction. We're not talking about mental health issue. To a degree we are, but again, no nation with 700,000 homeless individuals with people worth billions and hundreds of billions of dollars can be considered a great nation, and to consider themselves loving America as a whole, as a society. No, they love the wealth that they can extract, and they are not being human in how they are behaving. Then we look at the social anxiety that I mentioned earlier, leading to mental and emotional pathologies. And you see that fall out across the board. You have a society of many, many, many human beings who are mentally and emotionally unstable, even those who have the means to live a physically comfortable life. So this is what you have as the American society, and it has to change. Again, have a beautiful day. Sending you peace and all.